You know, for millions of people, the Ganga isn't just a river. It's a sacred mother. But what happens when that mother is critically ill? In this explainer, we're going to dive into some source material that reveals a really shocking truth about the river's health. And it's a truth we have to confront if there's any hope of saving her.
Our Ganga has become dirty. Wow. That statement, it's just heartbreaking, right? And it's really the starting point for everything we're going to talk about today. It's a call to stop looking away, to face a pretty harsh reality. Because, let's be honest, you can't fix a problem until you admit you have one.
So, to really see just how bad things have gotten, let's go to the holy city of Varanasi. This is where British biologist Jeremy Wade, you might know him from that show River Monsters, decided to do a really simple water test right there at the Ghats. And what he found? Well, the results were instant, and honestly, they were deeply unsettling.
Okay, so check this out. The test itself was so simple, but the results were just devastating. He puts a test strip in clean mineral water, and it turns this healthy pink color. Totally normal. Then he puts the same kind of strip into the Ganga, and it turns a sickly, gross yellow. I mean, you can't argue with that, right? The visual proof was right there. Undeniable. The holy river was seriously contaminated.
But what does that yellow color actually mean? Well, scientifically, it's a dead giveaway for something called fecal coliform bacteria. And to put that in plain English, it means human waste. Yep, the Holy Ganga is, and there's no nice way to say this, literally full of sewage.
To really get our heads around how deep this crisis goes, we've got to zoom in on Varanasi. You can't separate the city's fate from the river's. And the source material we're looking at really pushes us to, peel back all those romantic layers and just look at what the city is like today. I mean, for centuries, Varanasi was this incredible beacon of knowledge and spirituality. Think about it, a global hub for learning, a place where brilliant minds came together. It's where huge religions like Hinduism and Buddhism really took root. You had amazing saints and poets like Sant Kabir creating timeless work there. This was a city that genuinely shaped the world.
But the Varanasi of today? It's a totally different story. The city is just drowning in filth. The roads are so congested, they're basically paralyzed. Forget trying to get an ambulance through. Scams targeting visitors are everywhere. And what's really sad is that even its most famous institutions, like the legendary Banaras Hindu University, have lost a lot of their former glory.
And the source doesn't pull any punches here. It says, flat out, stop glorifying it. Varanasi has literally lost its glory. It's such a blunt reminder that you can't fix a problem if you pretend it doesn't exist. The glorious city of the past, well, it's now a city in crisis. Okay, so what's happening in Varanasi is really a snapshot of a much bigger problem, one that's affecting the entire Ganga. So the big question is, what exactly is poisoning this sacred river? And the answer, well, it's not simple. It's a complex, relentless attack coming from all sides. You can think of it like this. The river is being fed a toxic cocktail every single day. The number one ingredient? Human sewage. Huge amounts of it. Then you've got a massive dose of industrial waste. And on top of that, even religious practices and just everyday life add to the pollution. It's a vicious cycle of contamination that just doesn't stop. The sheer scale of this it's just staggering. Try to picture this. The raw, untreated sewage from more than 100 cities and towns is just being dumped straight into the river. Then add in the toxic chemicals from all kinds of factories, tanneries, chemical plants, you name it. And get this, just one power plant dumps 600,000 tons of fly ash into a tributary. It's an absolute environmental catastrophe. So, when you see a problem this huge, you immediately ask, okay, who's to blame? But what our source material explains is that it's not that simple. You can't just point a finger at one group. It's really a crisis of responsibility, where the blame is spread so thin across society that nobody feels like they own the problem. Everyone seems to share a piece of the blame here. The public, they're called out for having a shocking lack of what you'd call civic sense. What about the government? Well, big plans like the Ganga Action Plan have been around, but they just haven't delivered real, visible results. And the local administration, they get criticized for not being strict enough about enforcing the rules that are already on the books. You can really feel the frustration in this next quote. The source says, "Our civic sense is zero. Not zero, it's in the minus." Wow.
And to back this up, they give this perfect, heartbreaking example of a brand new drain at a temple getting clogged with gutka wrappers almost immediately. It really points to a deeply ingrained cultural issue, doesn't it?
Okay, so things sound pretty grim. I get it. But it's not all doom and gloom. There is a glimmer of hope. So now we get to the most important question of all. Can the Ganga actually be saved? Is there a way to bring this sacred river back to life?
The source doesn't just point out problems, it proposes solutions. It lays out a clear 5-step plan for revival, and it's a smart one. It combines the powerful influence of religious leaders with some serious, strict enforcement. We're talking dedicated Ganga squads on the ground, modern camera surveillance to catch polluters, and a total rethink of how cities like Varanasi are planned and managed.
And here's the part that might surprise you. The source is actually really optimistic. It suggests that if everyone, the public, religious leaders, the government, actually worked together, the Ganga could be cleaned up in just a year and a half, 18 months. Think about that. A clean Ganga isn't some far-off dream. It could be a very real, very achievable reality.
So, we're ending right back where we started, with the Ganga as a mother. For thousands of years, she has nurtured an entire civilization. So the big, profound question this leaves us with is, can that same civilization now come together to save the mother that gave them life, that gave them everything?